Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Tennessee Talk with myself, Betsy Ross, my co-host, Tennessee Williams. Tonight we have a special guest, Gibson County Mayor Tom Witherspoon. He's here to discuss the Trump effect. Thank you for joining us, Gene. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Well, again, I'm Tom Witherspoon. I'm Gibson County Mayor. I'm in my second term. My friends call me Mayor Spoon or just Spoon, and I wish you guys would. So just you can call me Spoon. And, I'm in my third year, my second term. Was elected in 2010. Came from the private sector. Worked as a tool and die maker for many years, and as a designer for the past 10 years. Worked in manufacturing management. Worked for some great companies. I had a great job working for a great company, great family, owned business. When I lost my mind, decided to run for mayor, and really just had a calling. We just had a calling, and I really enjoyed doing it, and that's pretty much it.
So you've got experience in a lot of different areas, yeah. You've got a diverse background and not just in politics.
Oh yeah, I'm the worst politician there is. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty blunt, straightforward, and pragmatic, problem-solving person, and that's what I've done my whole life and my whole career is just to solve problems for the companies I work for, the people I work for, and that's kind of the approach I take as being county mayor, is just trying to address people's problems and trying to find the money within the budget we've got to, fix what's wrong. And that's pretty much it. Just trying to be as practical as I can, and that's my job every day.
Well, you're doing a good job.
Okay, we're going to get to these questions now. Sarah, go ahead and launch off the first question.
So, Spoon, what is your opinion of Trump's first 56 days in office? I mean, do you think there's been some positive things that he's done, negative? A little more, one or the other? Just an overall
I think there's been some positives. Just right off the top of my head, the executive order okaying the Keystone Pipeline. I think that's a great thing. I think energy independence as a country is a good thing for us. As a whole, I'm not going to get into the 1 to 10 or A, B, C, D grades or anything like that. But I think as a whole, I think he could do himself a big favor and do the country a big favor by tweeting a lot less. And I think. But just I don't.
Do you think that maybe the reason, though, that he does that is that he doesn't trust the media outlet, so he kind of feels like the only way he can get, his opinion on things or the way that he feels out is by doing that? Do you get what I'm saying?
He does. I honestly believe that he does it because he tweets what he thinks, and I think the wiretapping of Trump Tower, for example, that's in the news now. I think he saw that somewhere on a website or he read it somewhere, and I think it made him mad. He woke up that Saturday morning and started tweeting about it.
This is a double-edged sword with that, because that tweeting he does is just uncontrollable. It's just unpredictable. Sometimes it really benefits him, because that's really how he got to the office. But then it's a double-edged sword, because if he just tweet everything he hears or feels, if he's wrong,
without
the whole White House,
evidence.
the whole White House then have to come out here and defend it, and you can't defend something that's just. And that's like he put them in an awkward position.
Has he ever been wrong, though? Have we heard any evidence that it did not happen? We haven't.
About what?
I mean, it's a little brilliant, because every time he does something, he gets everyone talking about it, and saying, oh, my gosh, why would he say that? And then, boom, he provides the evidence, and everybody's like, okay. I mean, it's slightly brilliant. It's also a little bit arrogant. Pompous,
I don't know if you want to – I wouldn't label it brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's –
in a way it is.
Well, I mean, you said that he offers proof and offers evidence of these things happening. I haven't seen any evidence. I'm not picking on him. He's my president. He's my president. No matter what, I didn't vote for him. I voted. I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton either. I took the lead of John Kasich and wrote in John McCain on election day. And I want to say this: I want him to do such a good job that you ride by my house 3 years from now and I've got a Trump sign in my yard, because it'll mean he's done a hell of a job. But I don't see, in Tara, with all due respect, let me disagree with you, I don't see the brilliance in causing an uproar over a wiretap that in all likelihood never happened. President Obama never ordered. I think he needs to ask, what good is going to come of this? And I can't answer that. I mean, I can't answer what good could possibly come of that, unless it's just to distract everybody from something else.
It's an unneeded distraction. That's really what it is.
He misspoke. misspoke, really. He admitted that. Like, I don't think he fully thinks through what he's going to tweet before he does it, which is concerning. He is the president, absolutely. But, I watched an interview today, and he was kind of he backed out from it. And I think what he meant was surveillance, but he misspoke and said wiretapping. So once you put a tweet out there for the public to see, that's what it's going to stick to. He, as president, we have to look to him and trust him. So I agree that is an issue, but I kind of think he misspoke. It wasn't so much as he was trying to be dishonest about what happened, but I truly believe he thinks that he was, being followed, whatever.
That's concerning. That's concerning to me. Here's, and you said it, Tara. You said it point blank. It's about trust. And here's the thing. Here's what concerns me as a citizen about President Trump so far. There's going to come a time that something terrible is going to happen. We're going to have a crisis. It might be a financial crisis. It might be a military crisis. It might be a terror attack. It may be a natural disaster. It may be something's going to happen when we need the world's help. When we're going to call on the world to support us and help us in whatever this crisis is. And when that time comes, all we have as American citizens is our president's credibility. When he stands in Oval Office, that camera's on him, and they say go. And he's addressing the nation at 7 p.m. on Thursday night, asking for help. Credibility is the only currency he has to trade with, and I don't see that what he's doing with his tweets and other things, I don't see how that's helping his credibility that was a little shaky to begin with.
True. I'll agree with you there. I will. I will agree with you on that one. It does damage.
I'll go ahead and finish your thought.
It does damage his credibility, but I'm also concerned, that there's other things that we might not even be aware of yet. So he's dropping these, small little hints here and there, because there are way too many things that are coincidences. Like, Obama taking the trip to Hawaii, to visit the judge who ended up, not agreeing with, the health care. It's just, there's so many different coincidences. And, that I think he might be a little paranoid. And he might do things without really thinking them through, and it will affect his trust. But to me, that open and honesty, that appeals to me. It appeals to me to have somebody go ahead and say what they think instead of sitting there and, trying to process it and make it come out. That appeals to me. I like that, honesty.
Yeah, you have a good point.
Whatever he's thinking, whatever at the time, Now,
it appeals to you no matter what.
What'd you say?
It appeals to you no matter what he tweets, as long as he's thinking it.
Not no matter what, but I don't think he has any ill intentions. I don't feel that any of his tweets have done anything to make, anybody really that angry. It'd be different if he, I don't think that anything that he said is a reason for anybody not to, trust or support him right now. If there's evidence that he wasn't, being followed, there wasn't surveillance, that none of that is true, I might have a different opinion the next time we talk. But as of now, all I see is that everything that he says, everybody will be up in arms, disagreeing with him, calling him a liar, and then it ends up being true. So I think we should wait this out and kind of see, what evidence there is. He did say that in the coming 2 weeks he was going to give evidence. So, I don't want to jump to conclusions.
There's been a lot of promises made, that things were going to be produced and presented, and a lot of it has happened. I'm not picking on him, not piling on him, but let's look at just since the campaign, lock her up, it's turned into leave her be, and build that wall, turned into build that fence, and so I'm waiting to see what all he's doing.
But Spoon, do you agree with the wall? Don't you agree that you were talking about earlier if there was, something like another, world war, something like that we would need other countries' support. But don't you agree that if we don't secure our borders and make our country stronger, we're not going to be able to help anybody else anyway? And, we've, of course, had stricter enforcement of the borders because of all the things that have been going on. I just don't see how that would be damaging to us. Don't you agree?
I'm 100% in favor of a wall being built that Mexico pays for. If the United States, if my tax dollars have to pay for a wall that's going to be a symbolic gesture toward border security, that wall's not going to stop anybody from getting in this country. You can't. Yeah. I've got walls around my house right now. I got all kinds of walls. I can't keep a cockroach out of my house. If a human being wants to be, if a human being is in one place and wants to be in another place, they're going to get there. We were in 1967. We were on Earth and went to the moon just because we decided to do it. But big up secure borders need to be secure. That's not the way to do it. I mean,
I got a question on this illegal immigration for you, Spoon. I'm thinking, because I kind of got a feeling that the illegal immigration is losing because the optics on it is just so bad. See, my dad was a cop, and I kind of seen the behind the scenes of it, and sometimes cop is just the job is just not, it's not a pretty job, especially when you got to enforce the law. And I was seeing on TV when did you see the one when the undocumented worker got arrested and the kids was in the back seat crying because he was undocumented? Yeah, and it just got to the point. Yeah, they got to the point that if you undocumented, you here illegally, and you get arrested, that's how it's going to look. So is this losing just because the optics of this just look bad?
Well, there's a huge difference between being legal and illegal. Immigrants are wonderful. I mean, that is what this country is built upon, okay? But even the American citizens that are here now have to follow the law. I mean, don't we have to follow the law every day? I mean, that
I understand that, Sarah, but if people are crying,
we have to follow it. They have to.
But if the kid, look, if he's undocumented, he got his kids are here legally, and you separate them, and it's on YouTube of them crying, the optics of that look so bad. I know he's here illegally, but I'm telling you, that's why public opinion will swing against you.
So, Spoon, what's your opinion of that? What should be done in that situation with that family? Should those children be able to stay there, the father too, so they can remain as a family, or should they all be sent back? I mean, whose fault?
Yeah, what
really
you did with the optics of it, because it looks bad when you enforce the law.
I'm going to agree with Tara, but first off, my heart goes out to them. Those kids were born here. Call them whatever, anchor babies or whatever. They were born here, no decision of their own. They didn't have anything to do with that. But I'm going to agree with Tara. Get here legally, and if the immigration laws need to be changed, then do it legislatively. Change the law, but we can't start deciding what laws we're going to enforce or not enforce on the fly as we're doing our jobs. Like your dad, your dad's a cop. Your dad, his job was to go out and enforce the laws that were put on the books by our legislators. Now,
yes.
Do our immigration laws need to be? When you talk to our employers or companies here, they'll tell you how much they depend on labor, immigration labor, be it illegal or illegal. Now, I say the law needs to be changed. The work visa program needs to be changed. But I agree with Tara. I mean, get here legally, and if you're not here legally, you're going to get arrested and you're going to be dealt with. But there should be some program so that the kids involved in that can stay here with a family member, with a friend, or somebody that's here legally in this country until their parents can get back legally.
Exactly.
I agree with you on that process. My question is, it's the optics. How can you enforce a law when it looks so bad? Democrats can always put that, like my father, nobody walked around with a camera. So he made a lot of arrests that just didn't look good. But nobody actually walked around with a camera 24/7 spotted on him. These cops right now, especially these border agents, they have cameras on them 24/7, and when they enforce the law, it don't look pretty. So how can you balance that out?
Like villains. Yeah.
That's tough. I mean, listen, that's a tough question. I mean, it looks bad when a baby's your parents have been taken away from them. It's awful. I mean,
it's bad.
But in all honesty, to be honest with you, there's part of it that says, damn, why didn't y'all come here legally?
Exactly.
But and I want to say this. Are there people sneaking drugs across the border? Yeah, they are. And there's a lot of ways to get drugs, illegal drugs, into the country. But you know what? There's a lot more people that want to come here just to make enough money to go back to Mexico and buy a metal roof for their house that they live in to keep rain off their children, or just trying to make a better life for themselves. And the truth is, we've got a lot of jobs in this country that we're having a hard time filling with native-born Americans. I mean, so I don't know. It's immigration is a tough issue. It's a tough.
Yeah,
issue. We just had a company. We had a company that was looking to locate here in Gibson County. We have prospects that come through all the time. We work any of a number of prospects. They're in and out. And we had a company that we sat down, we're excited about them, and then we looked at their pay scale that they were going to pay their people, and I told them point blank, I said, you're going to have a hard time filling those jobs at that pay scale. And they said, don't worry about that. We'll bring them in from Mexico. So we said, no, thank you. I'm looking for good paying jobs for Gibson County. For Gibson County. So, that's immigration. You know why the immigration issue hasn't been solved? Because it's so complex and difficult. That's why.
Well, now, you know what? People don't like to say this, but also the Democrat Party loves to take people and make them victim, scapegoat, and play it all at the same time. So you can't throw that to the side.
Oh, that's true. But both sides do that. But both sides do that.
And, even Trump, like he keeps talking about, how the Democrats are just upset that he lost. That's something that keeps upsetting me. I hate when both sides, talk about that and whine and complain. I feel like, look, you should be for whatever you're for and be strongly for it. But once something happens, like Trump is president, you have to just accept it. You can't, that it's fine to go out and protest and do things like that. But when we're dealing with issues like illegal immigration, we should be able to look at every single thing that's happened to this country and be okay with it just because of those things that happened to this country. It's not like he's making it impossible for anybody to come into this country legally. It's just certain, countries right now that are going to have stricter enforcement. And the wall, who knows? I don't know. I'm not sure that they're one of our greatest problems right now and that the wall would really be that effective. But, of course, I definitely agree with the travel ban and things like that are happening right now. I think that's one of the biggest issues is that we have people coming in and out of this country. We have no idea, really who they were. And that's a problem. You can't distinguish one person. You can't say, well, this person's just here to be a college student because the group of doctors, what did they do? They ran off with ISIS. You'd never, ever know. And you can't say, well, this person's here for this and this one's here for that. You have to treat every single person the same. They all have to go through the same process, just as we would. If we went to jail, we would not get any special treatment for being this person, that person. Everybody has to go through. There's processes and procedures for everything. So I definitely feel that we need it.
I don't have any problem. Look, I don't have any problem with anybody coming to this country legally. I don't care what religion you belong to. If you're willing to come here legally, obey all laws, and be productive citizens, I'm all for you. I enjoy diversity. I also had a conversation not too long ago. When you travel around the country, the more you travel, and the more you meet new people in different cultures and engage yourself with them, and go into it open-mindedly, and the more you'll see the most successful areas of this country, and we're real close, is Nashville. The most successful communities and cities in this country have one thing in common, and that's ethnic diversity.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I agree. But I don't see why anybody would, even connect those two because, and that's my biggest thing. A lot of people are even scared to say they support Trump. And the reason is, I've had people say, yes, I support him, but I don't want anybody to think I'm racist. I don't see how any of the issues that he deals with would mean, that he didn't, that he wasn't diverse or didn't, believe in different
things. It's like we spoke earlier, it's the tone. It's the tone that he says it in. It's that tone that kills him.
It's tone. It is. It's tone. Yeah, it's tone and demeanor. Mm-hmm. It's a tone and demeanor issue, and
yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. What it is. I wish he had a different tone, approach, and demeanor. Yeah, I do. But you know what? The man won, and he's got a Republican House and Senate, and let's see what they do. And I was talking to Governor Haslam today, not to name drop, but I was talking to Governor Haslam in Milan today, and I told Governor Haslam, I said, you know why the Roman Empire failed, don't you? And he said, why? And I said, because they ran out of other people to defeat. They turned on one another. And he said, well, we're starting to see a little of that now. I said, I agree with you.
Moving on to the next topic on this. I would love you. What is your feeling about Obamacare and where it's at?
Oh man, that's a good question. I'm as an employer, we've got 140 to 50. It can change any given day, but about 140 to 50 people on our health insurance for the county. And as an employer, the Affordable Care Act is a headache to us. I'm not going to lie to you. We have to do reporting with the IRS about who's getting insurance, about the actual affordability of that insurance, and make sure we fall within those guidelines. We've had to cut hours for some of our part-time people to make sure that they're not exceeding the 120 hours a month mandate of that law. And so as an employer, it's a headache.
Mm-hmm.
But are there some good things about that law? Yes, it absolutely is. The pre-existing condition part of it is great. I'm a heart patient, and have been since 2009, and I can get insurance now. Where before, companies didn't have to offer me insurance. Mm-hmm. So there's some good to it. I don't think it's had the effect that was intended. I think it was gone into for the right intentions, but repeal and replace is a catchy slogan. Repeal and replace, that's a good political catchy slogan to fire away with on the campaign trail. But here's the problem with that: opposition's easy, proposition's hard. Now,
yes.
What do you got to replace it with? And I think that the bill that's being presented, and I agree with what Ted Cruz said yesterday. It's dead on arrival. Go back to the drawing boards. So, and I don't have all the answers to health care, but I do know this. I know this. As a 49-year-old man, citizen of America, we're a great enough country, in my opinion, that a human being in this country should never be denied treatment to ease pain or to save their life because they don't have money.
Agreed.
I don't know what the answer to that is, but money.
But there's got to be something better because
I
know my premium, it doubled. And I know a lot of people think, well, too bad. But that makes it really hard on the working family, the working class family, to do everything. And I mean, everything increased: the cost of your emergency room visit, the cost of your copays, and almost makes it where you can't even go to the doctor when you really need it. So I agree that there needs to be a plan in place. I love the pre-existing, but he's not going to get rid of any of that I've seen. The only thing that he's changing is felons being, able to have certain health care options. And if you really dig into what he's going to do, I haven't seen anything bad. I haven't seen anything negative except for portrayed in the media that I did not see in his actual plan.
Well, I'm going just what the Congressional Budget Office, and you saw the numbers that they came out with, and they're a nonpartisan office. In fact, the head of the Congressional Budget Office was handpicked by the Republican representatives, and their estimate is 14 million people next year will lose health care. And
they say 26 by 20. I think it's 2026. 20 million or something by then.
See, that's a lot of different things. Don't you believe that some of those people will be losing it because they'll have the option to purchase their own? That's why I think they'll be losing insurance because they're no longer forced to have insurance. Which people are going to say, well, good. That means people shouldn't be forced into anything. And I agree with you. I'm forced into having car insurance. In the state of Tennessee, if I don't have car insurance, they're going to tow my car.
This is the problem. You taking a free market. This is why both parties fail, no matter who's in charge. Because the Democrats pass or the Republicans. You take a free market system and you're trying to mix it in with a universal system. So when you do that, all the people that you're trying to scheme in for free, the free market people who's paying for it, going to ultimately wind up paying for all the people that you're giving these stay on the plan of 26. It was some more things that the Republicans trying to keep. It's like they're trying to take a free healthcare system, but also keep a free market system attached to it, and it don't make sense. It's either going to be free market or it's going to be free for all. You can't mix the two, because if you mix the two, the people that's free, the people that's paying for it is going to pay for the people that's free.
And that's what's happening right now. It's a mess.
Yeah,
I think
somebody has.
It just now got to be a mess because as y'all know, it takes several years for something to kind of get into place and all the little, everything being ironed out. So right now, I feel like he was inherited kind of a mess. If it fails, he's the president right now. Don't y'all agree?
See, Sarah, you were happy when he kept Obamacare. I really wasn't, because when he said he was getting rid of it, that was one of my appeals to Trump. That he's going to get rid of the thing. Now he's saying he's going to keep all these things in place. Them three things that was really tearing it up. So it's like, okay, the Republican Party for 20 years has been running around talking about a free healthcare system with a card. You're going to have this bank account that's going to be attached to you as a kid. Now they got the majority. Where is it at? Was that just pillow talk?
Well, that's what a lot of them do is talk.
You have a chance to enforce your own bill now. Why are you still staying on Obamacare? You can do your own health savings account and run it.
He's got to go through a lot of different people, and he's got to get, I think, 52 votes.
He has the House and the Senate.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that every single Republican even agrees with him right now. I think he's going to have a hard time.
You make a good point. He's kind of disenfranchised himself with his own party on the way through the door. So it's tough. I think what I would like to say, and people start saying, "Oh, here he goes. He's talking socialism," and I'm not talking socialism. But what I am talking is I would like to see what it would cost, how it would work if we were to take what employers and this. I've been working since I was 17 years old for the off the farm. I was raised on the farm, and every single year, every company I've ever worked for that provided health insurance had to deal with increases. Well, I want to see a version of healthcare that would take the responsibility from employers to provide health care to the employees, and take a good part of that the expense on the employers and move that to a universal health care program. Even if you don't pass it, even if we don't do it, even if it never becomes law, I want to see what it would cost, what it would look like. I mean, just give us a look at it.
So what you think about the health savings account? Because I was kind of attracted to that. The Heritage Foundation was running that like 20 years ago. What do you think about the health savings account? One account is traced to a baby when he's born, and he has it his whole life.
I'll have to look that up. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I'd like to learn more about that. I know my personal savings account ain't worth a damn.
I tell you, as much as we run to the doctor, we don't have any. And
yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I've got one medicine that I take that every January. I know when I go to the drugstore, I have to re-meet my deductible on my prescriptions, and that one medicine for a month cost me $960. And
oh man!
$960. I'm not crying about it. It's every year. I mean, and it goes up every year. Well,
is that a month or a year?
A month.
A month. That's 1 month worth. That's 30 pills. That's 30 pills. Daily pills. $960. Because I have to meet my deductible on my prescriptions, and that one prescription and one more will meet my $1,000 deductible for the year. And other people deal with that. I know a lot of other people deal with that too. You know, our insurance in Gibson County government is average at best, and that's just truth of it.
Agreed.
But here's the problem with our health care system. You've got, like that one medicine, it's made by Pfizer. I'm not picking on Pfizer, but I'm not going to pick on Pfizer, but I'm kind of going to pick on Pfizer. I looked it up, out of curiosity. That CEO last year made $60 million in base salary, plus incentives, plus profit sharing that's undisclosed. He's got a board of directors that he answers to that are all shareholders in that company. And I got to ask myself, as I pay that $960 for those 30 pills, who are they looking at? Who are they looking out for? That pharmaceutical company? Are they looking out for me? Or are they looking out for the CEO? No.
They're looking out for themselves. But he added a part to that, to his plan about the prescriptions. Did y'all happen to see that, where he's wanting to make the medically necessary life-saving prescriptions where at a lower cost? And he discussed how you can go to Canada and you can get the same prescription, and Europe too. If you're living there, you can get the same exact prescription, the same exact pharmaceutical company, and it's at half the cost. So it can be done.
Tara, Canada is a universal healthcare system. You can't keep quoting Canada. Americans for profit.
But it shows you if these pharmaceutical companies can sell their product at that cost, it can be done. And that's why he's working.
The reason they're selling it to Canada at that cost is because we're subsidizing it.
You're exactly right.
Because I'm paying $960 for 30 pills. That's why they can sell it.
You know what? I never thought about that, Mayor Spoon. I never thought about that. You are the.
You damn right. You damn right. We're subsidizing their health care in Canada. And I'm not picking on Canada. But you know what? Guess what, Canada? You're welcome for that thank you to America, but you not really haven't had much of a military either. Everybody don't attack Canada because of us.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that is. I just thought about that. That is true.
I like that part of his plan, though, because I know so many people, especially the elderly in this community, they're on a fixed income, they take their check, pay their bills, and barely have enough left for their medication. And that's not right. At the end of your life, that is not. You should be enjoying yourself. You should not be worried about things like, how you're going to pay for your medication, especially when you've worked and you're supposed to have that stuff taken care of. I definitely think that there's got to be something done about that. I really, really do.
We got a program at Northwest Tennessee Development District, and I serve on that board as mayor. It's a 9-county development district. They're a great organization. We got a program called LIHEAP, and it's a program that helps people pay their and usually it's the elderly on Social Security pay their heating bills. Usually in the wintertime, last year we had 468 Gibson counties that couldn't get help. They're on the waiting list, and they have to make choices between. Think about this now. I'm gonna get emotional. I get emotional thinking about this because I've sat with these people, at their table when they're having to decide, are we going to buy this medicine that the doctor says keeps us alive, that board of directors can set whatever price they want to on? Are we going to buy a pack of bologna and some ramen noodles to eat on for the next 4 days till our next check comes, or are we going to turn the heat on?
And that should never happen in this country. And that's the only reason why I feel that once we get everybody here taken care of and they're not suffering in poverty, and, that then we can start to worry about everything else. But I totally agree with you, Spoon. That, I also see that, and I've seen that so much, even in this community. How do y'all make those decisions? And, Spoon, again, what did you say that was called at the Northwest? What was the program?
It's don't get me started on alphabet soup acronyms, but it's called LIHEAP, and it's a good program. It's just underfunded. Now this year we had a warm winter, and I'm gonna be honest with you. When we have warm winters, I like the warm winter because I don't have to pay as much in heating bills. But I think about those 468, not people, households, not people, households. I think about those 468 households. Well, on those warm days we had back in January. That day I was fishing January 31st, Tuesday afternoon, at the lake it was 74 degrees. I said, thank God it's warm so they don't have to choose between bologna and natural gas.
Mm-hmm. That kind of leads to, that leads into my next question on welfare reform. I kind of got I got a personal experience that kind of flipped my view on this. I used to have a bar up in Jackson. I ran it for like 7 years. And when I went to hire a few ladies bartenders or whatever, they was living in public housing. Now their benefits that they was getting, because I wanted to pull them full time, and I was only paying like $850, and I sat down at the table with one. Now her benefits that she was getting would have been less if she would have been cut off and she would have took the job. So I had a full-time job for her, and she wanted to work full-time, but if she worked, all her benefits that she was getting, I think she was on food stamps and I think half of rent or something. They were going to take that. So it like the welfare policy really don't make sense. If I get up and get a job, you kind of like penalize me. So what's the initiative for that woman to get up and get a job?
And that is a huge problem. It really, really
is. Because for a minute I was hard on welfare until I was in that position to hire somebody who was on welfare, and I sat down with her and we did the math, and if she took my job, she was like, it wasn't hard for her. And I looked at it and it didn't make no sense.
Yeah, and a lot of times the women, they're offered child care in those situations, but it's only for a period of time. And if you're working a minimum wage job, you have 3 kids, it's $125 a week in child care average, you're really just working to put your kids in daycare. So, I can see both sides, and it's not as easy as some people think. That's a position that, you've had to basically live or experience some type of strife or, struggle in your lifetime to really understand it. But a lot of people will say, oh, they can just get up and get a job. Well, that's a little hard with no transportation, 3 kids. Sometimes it doesn't.
And they don't realize when they get a job, if the employee don't match the benefits they getting, they can't accept that job, because if they accept it, all their benefits are gone. So I think I was offered $850. I would have had to pay her, I think, $1050 for me to match the benefits she was getting, and I was only making like $60,000 a year at that bar. You started, it wasn't really that big of a bar, so I couldn't pay her $1050. Like, is there any type of what's your opinion on that, Mayor Spoon? On
man, I agree with a lot of what both of them are saying, and but I'm a Democrat, moderate Democrat, and I believe in free market capitalism. I believe in opportunity. I believe in working your way up, through the ranks, through hard work, and take advantage of opportunity. And like Tara said, we've got people. When Governor Haslam started the Tennessee Promise program, I said, good. I said, that's a great thing. It takes people's excuse, making away. And we've got Tennessee Reconnect now for adult learners, to return to trade schools or 2-year college, and that's great. Well, then we started, our numbers weren't doing what we thought they were going to be doing regionally, and I said, what's the problem? So we started engaging people. They didn't have a way to get to school. They didn't have transportation. They didn't have cars. As a family unit, they didn't have a means of reliable transportation. And so I said, what can we do? So we started using the Northwest Tennessee Human Resources public transportation units, vans, and started scheduling with some of these students to help them get there. Yeah, I mean, like you guys said, it's easy for us. It's easy to have a knee-jerk populist response to laziness. And don't get me wrong, we got plenty of lazy people.
We've got people who abuse the system. Yes, we have lots of people who abuse the system. Yes. Yes, we do.
But we got a lot of people that want to take advantage of opportunity and just they're having a difficult time doing it. But I had the opportunity with a conference not long ago, and we were talking about disability benefits, and we've got a lot of people in this county that need disability right now, and the reason they can't get disability right now is because of the number of people that are abusing it. They're on disability and don't have a damn thing wrong with them.
Exactly.
So if you can hunt and fish all day, you can work all day. I know I've done both all my life.
I agree. And I wonder what the problem is there, because I've seen people who absolutely need it. I mean, there's no other way to put it. You can just look at them and see there's no way that they would be able to get out and work. And then you have able-bodied individuals who get it quickly, and that's the problem. There's got to be some stricter. Go ahead.
The problem is lawyers. I mean, if you got a good disability lawyer, you can get disability. Take the lawyers out of the decision-making process, and let's go back to the days of the local boards. Put together local boards that decide locally, who's disabled, who's not. Bring those cases. Take people that are retired that have time to serve on these boards, and let them screen through and vet those that have applied for those benefits, and let them decide. They say, wait, I saw George out there duck hunting the other day. I duck hunted with him for 2 weeks ago, But let them decide. Let them decide who needs it, who doesn't, and who just doesn't feel like working and rather have a government check. I mean, it burns me up. It does.
Yeah, it does me too. It really does. Because you see people, I've actually seen somebody out before dancing, doing all kinds of things. I ask them, so what are you doing now? Nothing. I'm waiting on my disability check. I'm getting it all at one time, and it's going to be $20,000. And I'm like, what? For my back. And I'm serious. I'm absolutely serious. And that's something that strikes me, because so many people you hear, they're at home, they're starving, their bills aren't being paid because they're waiting to hear something and they actually need it.
Got a dear friend right now, a guy in Tennessee, I'm not going to call his name, but he is the textbook example of what the disability and the Social Security benefit was set up for. And he's been kicked out twice. He's been refused twice just because the money's not there because there's too many people abusing it.
Exactly. And maybe even they need to add some investigators to go out once people are accepted to continue to watch them. I mean, if something changes, if, they're out doing things, I mean, how are people going to know that? That'd be a good job. That'd be a good job for somebody to go out and watch them, just to ensure. And a lot of people, that would make them feel uncomfortable. But then again, when you're accessing things like this, I mean, you kind of have to expect those things to happen, expect to be observed a little more. And, I mean, really,
stealing. If you're stealing from the government or you're stealing from whatever, your neighbor's garden or whatever, stealing. My high school principal, Bo Bowden, kicked me out of school for 3 days for getting ice cream out of the cafeteria and taking it to the bathroom and give it to my friends between second and third period. I said, well, hold on, Mr. Bowden, it's just ice cream. He said, stealing, go to the house. And so I learned my lesson on that.
I agree. And those people who steal it make the problems for everybody else. So that's huge. And
how many more problems we got to solve tonight? We've solved everything else. Let's pick another.
I tell you what, hey, Spoon for president. You're going to run the next 4 years, okay?
Woo!
We'll put you in charge.
Let's go ahead and start it. It's for campaign fund. I'll take donations tonight.
I got $1.50 coming your way. That's in my bank account. I'll drain it all for you.
Every penny counts. Thank you very much. Appreciate your support.
All right. Hey, it's going on 45. We finna wrap this up right quick. We finna take a call or two, Sloman. Let you interact with the people who's been listening.
Bring it on. Yeah, sure.
All right. Caller 770. Are you online? Caller 770.
Yes, I'm online. Can you hear me?
Yes. Say your name. Where you from?
My name is Marcus Gentry, and I'm from Chicago originally, but I came up in the Gibson County and Madison County area. I live in Nashville now, and I've been listening to y'all conversation. I'm a black independent. I used to be a Republican, but I
Were you left the Republican Party?
Oh yeah. I had to leave the party because there was too many white nationalists, infiltrating the party, and it kind of threw me off. You see, I can listen to the conversation. I can listen to a man tell me that healthcare is bad. I can listen to a man tell me socialism is bad, And I hear his points, and I talk about how socialism is already ingrained in America, you know. But the thing about it is, when you start having neo-Nazis and things like that, I turn off from it because I'm a black man, and I'm not going to ride with a president that has a right-hand man who's a racist. I can't deal with that. You know, that lets me know that there's another agenda that's going on with this administration, and then you have the whole Russian element. You know, it's getting to the point where somebody.
Oh, you know what? We never did get into the Russian aspect of that. Hey, Spoon, what's your opinion on his Russian connection and all that? Do you believe in that?
Oh, definitely, because he's hiding his taxes. You see, he got businesses over there, and that scares me because 4-5 years from now, I don't want to be speaking Russian. You feel what I'm saying? I'm in America. Come on, you taking it too far. You know, I just put a little humor. I put a little humor in that, but you know, on the serious tip, we did them that way in the '80s, where we turned the Russians against each other. See, I was around when Reagan was president, and I was aware of how we infiltrated them secretly with spies and things like that, and we turned them basically in on each other. And
you saying they're doing it to us now?
Yes. Anybody that was born in the 50s, 60s, or 70s, it's the same plot line. They're just giving it back to us. You know what I'm saying? Like they know that President Obama was a great divide in this country. He was the first black president. There was so many hatred came out when he became president, and it seemed like they know this, and now they got a man who would have never qualified to be president. No way, no how 10 years ago. Even 15, 20 years ago, he wouldn't even made it out the first round. You know what I'm saying? And now he's president just because he's speaking to a portion of the country that has built up so much hatred over the last 8 years. You know, people need to realize that Obama, he really inherited a problem. Not Trump. Trump inherited a messed up healthcare system. Okay, I'll give him that. But Obama inherited a messed up country, and he handled it with grace. And for a lot of people to talk bad about him, now I'm not saying none of you guys, because I've been listening to you, and you guys have had some solid points. And like I said, I voted for him the first time, but I didn't vote for him the second time. And
you didn't vote for Obama the second time?
No, I didn't vote for him the second time.
Because why did he lose your vote? I'm interested. Why did he lose your vote on the second time?
Well, he lost my vote because he spent so much political capital on health care when he could have did so many other things for the black community. Like, for instance, the prison reform. And when Reagan started locking up black men for having 2 or 3 rocks and giving them 20 years, that messed up black families in this country. And the same thing is going to happen with the Mexicans. When they start locking them Mexicans up, sending the parents home, they cannot do nothing with the kids because the kids are United States citizens. You know what happened to us as black men? We were talking about that earlier,
the hard situation with the kids and stuff. Hey, Mary Spoon, what's your thoughts on this Russian connection? What did you feel on that Russian connection?
I'm gonna tell you what I took away from it is, I don't know what's the connection. I know this that you'll never convince me that the Russian influence into the election changed the course of the election. I don't believe that at all.
No, she was a bad candidate. She was going to lose regardless.
Yeah, I think she's going to lose. Yeah, but
I disagree.
What does concern me and bother me is President Trump's affection for the Russian government and Vladimir Putin. That concerns me. I mean, and especially for him to go so far as to side with the Russian government against our intelligence community and refer to our intelligence community as Nazis and all this. I mean, our intelligence community, they risk their lives every day. We've got people in clandestine services that are undercover right now to protect us and to help keep us safe and keep us free. And to side with the Russian government on that over our intelligence communities makes me wonder, why would he do that? And like the caller said,
because it makes people distrust the exact organizations that we're supposed to trust in this country.
So all y'all, so let me get this right. All of y'all think there's something to this Russian thing.
No, I don't think that it had anything to do with the election, and I don't really think that there was anything that they've been able to find that he did that, he shouldn't have done, because we would have already known about it. I'm pretty sure at this point.
I don't think it was directly the Russian incident, but it was an accumulation of everything. The Russian incident, the leaked emails slowly coming out, the director of the FBI coming out with that crazy never before seen stunt he did. It was just accumulation of things, and she still almost won. She actually won the popular vote. So if all of that wouldn't have happened, she would have been president.
Many president-elects do, though. They, that's happened before. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Gore also won the popular vote.
Marcus, that's why I had to disagree with you. I think she was a bad candidate, and she would have lost regardless. She was
a bad candidate. She was.
Okay, I'm glad you agree with it.
Yeah, she definitely, because she said some stuff back in the 90s about African Americans being predators or something like that. I really didn't. Me and her, we don't have no. I wouldn't have voted for her, but I'd rather had her than a man who I know once he gets done with them Mexicans, he's coming for black people, and I feel that in my heart, and that's why I can't. I'm sorry if anybody get offended. This is supposed to be talk radio, so I'm speaking my mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I seriously feel once it's all said and done with the Mexicans, it's going to be stopping friends. It's going to be all kinds of crazy stuff going on with us and the blacks because he surrounded himself with people that I've listened to. I'm a truck driver, and I've been all over the United States. One of my favorite talk show hosts is Michael Savage, and I like Coast to Coast. And when I listen to these guys, I can hear the hatred Rush Limbaugh spit out over the last 8 years. I can hear the hatred that Michael Savage spit out over the last 8 years. And some of the points they say be right, but it turns you off when you hear the hatred that they coming with. And that's why I love y'all show.
Me and the mayor was saying that earlier that his problem is the tone. It's like the way he phrases it, and that tone is just so it rubs people.
Right.
Yeah, he doesn't worry about how he projects himself. Marcus, that's your name, correct? Don't you agree though that now wouldn't Trump be able and the whole country be able to better protect the communities that we have here that are struggling and in poverty without illegal immigrants coming into the country and us providing them with the things that we could be giving the communities right now who are already here who need them? I mean, don't you agree? Because when they come here, automatically they get food stamps, government assistance, things that we have to fight for. I know many people, and I've been in that situation. I've been in the situation to need things like that for short periods of time. That's what they're there for. It's actually there for emergency situations, if you look at the actual definition of it. But we're unable to provide the people here who need it the most when we have people coming across the border and accessing it. Don't you agree, Marcus? Because I agree.
This is what I feel about that. I feel like they should secure that border, even if it's to build a wall. But as far as the illegals here, he should give them a year to come out the shadows, file charges against them, and make them pay a fine. And the reason why I say make them,
Reagan tried that. Ronald Reagan tried that. It don't work.
He wasn't successful at it. He wasn't successful at it. But the reason why I say that is because I lived through the 90s. And when Reagan got through with the crack laws of the 80s, locking up hundreds of thousands of black men in the 80s, the 90s was a gang-banging era. And the same thing is going to happen 10 years from now when he start taking all of these illegal immigrants' parents who done been here 10, 20, 15 years, done established themselves, had kids here, and just start shipping them back home. Their kids are going to be here wilding out. It's
so your solution is to do amnesty for all of them. Just say amnesty. Everybody.
I'm not saying amnesty. They're gonna have to pay. They need to turn them, get them 6 months to a year. And if you don't turn yourself in, we're gonna lock you up and send you out. But if you turn yourself in, we're gonna give you a court docket. Yeah, we're gonna give you a court docket.
The procedure.
Right.
That's the same thing that Ronald Reagan did back in the 80s. It don't work. Why y'all keep trying to run the same immigration policy?
Well, the reason. But what people aren't understanding is right now the agents are specifically going after criminals, people who are here legally that have also committed crimes. So that makes it a little bit different. I see your point, but like right now, the only people he's going after, if I'm not mistaken, are ones who have already committed a crime besides being here. Yeah,
so,
that would present an issue legally.
It's not going to stop there.
All right, we at that 1 hour mark. We about to wrap it up. We're gonna get a.
Yeah, I love you guys' show, and I will be tuning in, and I'm always gonna call. I'm always gonna call.
We thank you for that support, man.
Okay. I'm one of Peabody's finest, man. I've been all over the United States, though. You know what I'm saying, Mayor?
I'll trick.
Okay. Roll time. All right, I'll see y'all later.
Thank you, Marcus. We appreciate you.
You're welcome.